One of the greatest garages in the highly regarded custom vehicle industry right now is West Coast Customs. WCC is a Burbank, California-based company, most known to the general public for its very popular television program, Inside West Coast Customs. When his customized cars were featured on magazine covers at the early age of 14, co-founder and CEO Ryan Friedlinghaus gained some notoriety as a business genius. Shortly after, he came up with innovative ideas to transform the custom automobile industry. Reputably, Inside West Coast Customizations transforms seemingly commonplace assembly line automobiles into very distinctive customizations. The company is quite proud of its ability to accommodate any request from customers, no matter how difficult. Like any program, there are many behind-the-scenes activities that are not visible to most viewers, but they are often successful. Over the years, Inside West Coast Customs has encountered many issues, such as dissatisfied employees, insufficient compensation for overtime, and poor results. A wealthy businessman would prefer that we know nothing about this extra knowledge. Minimum wage worker. Following the U.S. Labor Department's 2014 inquiry, which found that WCC was paying weekly wages based on fixed sums rather than on an hourly basis, the firm agreed to pay over $150,000 in back pay. Furthermore, the overtime that the workers worked was not taken into account in their pay. The business was held accountable for breaking federal labor regulations by falsely enrolling employees as independent contractors. A few vehicles were returned insecure. Inside West Coast Customs takes great care in finishing jobs. In fact, they are honest about any shortcomings. A few weeks after acquiring a brand new Mercedes-Benz G 550 in 2014, YouTuber Trisha Paytas requested certain changes to be made. This was, in fact, what the salesperson had attempted to convince her to accept, but she had refused. Basically, there were problems with everything electrical. Displays were reporting incorrect readings, windshield wipers weren't functioning, and lights weren't working. Furthermore, the garage often missed the deadline, which they rationalized away with an extensive array of excuses. It is obvious that even the skilled workers at Inside West Coast Customs may easily get overburdened by their responsibilities. The harsh morality of labor. Although Ryan Friedlinghaus is a phenomenal artist, his success has been criticized because of his rigorous work ethic. Ryan has to do a lot of work quickly, so employees are forced to put in extra hours. He even goes to the extent of putting his family above business in order to ensure the company's complete attention. Shaqs Friendship was the catalyst for Ryan Friedlinghaus's breakout. For WCC, the turning point occurred when Friedlinghaus had the opportunity to meet the renowned basketball star Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq was so thrilled with his first WCC encounter that he not only became close to the firm, but also promoted it to celebrities who are prepared to pay exorbitant sums of money for their services. Shaq was a kind and well-connected man who played a major role in establishing West Coast Customs as one of the top custom garages globally. According to Friedlinghaus, the company's success was a result of its collaboration with O'Neal and his approval for the use of his name in advertising. He fully attributes their current circumstances to the large man's reputation that he built via word of mouth. Changes. After the show, not every automobile was completed in the same amount of time as on TV. Behind the screens, tow trucks were always on hand to remove broken down vehicles. Furthermore, a lot of the components that Pimp My Ride added were unnecessary and just enhanced the vehicle's appearance. To boost ratings, they performed publicity efforts. TV is an industry that is perhaps more about "what have you done for me lately" than any other. The need for producers to make changes when any type of decline in ratings occurs, even with very popular television programs like Inside West Coast Customs. One late-night gathering Will attended, he once parked his vehicle out of sight instead of giving it to the valet for some reason. After the party, it vanished, but WCC found it for some reason, and it was aired for a short while on the program. Had this setup not been so blatant, maybe things might have gone over better. WCC has mostly avoided utilizing gimmicks since then. Customer feedback. Concerns raised by clients over the remodeling company's work have persisted. They not only destroyed Trish Paytas's G 550, but also overcommitted, missed deadlines, and turned away disgruntled customers. Customers bemoan the careless services and slow delivery, for which WCC never accepts responsibility for delays, and many of the upgrades are seen as insufficient. Their slowness is renowned. Although WCC's "no job is too big" mentality has often benefited them, there have been instances when the workload has been too heavy. Numerous cases of unfulfilled projects and unhappy customers have been reported. The most well-known example is perhaps the Fireball bus incident, which included video game developer Red 5 Studios. WCC was hired to construct a huge van with a gaming area inside that would travel the nation as part of the game's marketing campaign. Ryan begins WCC with a $5,000 debt. One of the finest tales of the American dream is that of West Coast Customs. When Ryan Friedlinghaus was still a teenager, he and his business partner Quentin Dodson launched the company in 1994. Ryan's first business in Los Angeles was a small 1,500 square foot room that held nothing except his dream of greatness. He thinks that part of the company's success is that it operates more like a family than a business. Many of his employees have been with him for a long time, and others have been there since the start. Ryan Friedlinghaus, for example, began with a $5,000 loan and now has a $20 million net worth. The company almost went out of business in the 2008 financial crisis. Undoubtedly, one of the worst catastrophes of the contemporary period was the financial crisis of 2008. It affected individuals from all socioeconomic backgrounds and revolutionized many sectors of the economy, including the market for customized cars. Although Friedlinghaus was first unclear about what would happen, he subsequently said that the occurrence was the largest setback the company has ever encountered. He needed to release half of his staff in one quick move. Maybe the richest customers had just one finished automobile each year rather than several. The WCC business relies on this sort of work being done, despite the fact that it seems archaic. To make up for the several significant missions that were missing, they also had to take on a lot of lesser tasks. They returned, but not before navigating through some very rough seas. The difficulties and trials of being Ryan Friedlinghaus. Between Ryan Friedlinghaus and West Coast Customs, there has been enough conflict to last a lifetime. There hasn't always been an easy ride for West Coast customists. There have been a number of concerns, from claims that the different Pimp My Ride automobiles were just cosmetically enhanced to West Coast Customs having troubles as a consequence of underpaid and overworked staff. Ryan Friedlinghaus was actually forced to pay a fine of $150,000, which was deemed back pay, according to the U.S. Labor Department's inquiry, since WCC had been paying fixed weekly rates rather than the hourly rate they were required to. Moreover, they were not paying overtime to their employees. The corporation now claims it complies with all legal standards after resolving these issues. As if that weren't enough, WCC has also had a lot of unhappy clients who have voiced their displeasure due to low-quality finished items or missed deadlines. Nonetheless, Friedlinghaus's and WCC's success has been greatly influenced by their strong relationships with certain celebrities. Shaquille O'Neal served as the primary source of motivation for his whole business venture, as he not only convinced WCC to modify his bicycle, but also put him in touch with other prominent players in the industry.